and welcome to Exploring Hobbies. I'm Jamie Fouché, and today we're going to be talking about ballroom dancing. And I have with me Natalka Kapp, who's going to be sharing her infinite wisdom and experience and excitement about this topic that I think has really grown in popularity again over the last couple of years. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. So tell us, how did you get started in ballroom dancing?
Oh, it was purely by accident, actually. I was just going out to the club one night with friends thinking we were going to experience regular club-style dancing that we're used to. Mm-hmm. And I walked in one day and they were doing partner dancing. And I had never seen that in Detroit up until that point. And I said, what's going on? What are they doing? And some people I talked to said, well, they're doing salsa and swing. And I said, how do I do this? This looks so much fun. So that's how it all got started, and I started taking ballroom dancing lessons after that happened and fell in love and have been addicted ever since.
Ever since. That's great. Mm-hmm. And so tell us, how is ballroom dancing different from other types of dancing?
Well, ballroom dancing is different in the aspect that it is considered a partner-style dancing. So generally, you'd be doing it as partners around the dance floor. It may be stationary dances. So it's a little bit more formal, but not any less fun. So you may need some lessons to learn a little bit about partnering versus just going out and dancing like most people do in the club as single people and not connected to another person. So there's that little bit of learning that needs to occur to do it right.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as part of that learning and kind of understanding more about ballroom dancing, are there different types of ballroom dancing?
Yes. In fact, there's several different types. One of the types is called American Rhythm, which is generally what you do as far as social dancing in America. Mm-hmm. It was actually developed to help people have a little bit more simpler and more followable patterns to do. And then there's International Latin, which you will often see on shows like Dancing with the Stars, where they do the paso doble and the samba. Mm-hmm. These dances maybe aren't as easy for lead and follow as some of the American rhythm dances are. So if you go to a local studio, you may be initially taught something like an American rumba, which is a simple box step that most people can follow and lead pretty easily. And then, of course, you have the traditional dances with the big ball gowns that people generally associate with ballroom dancing, which would be like your waltz and your foxtrot and tango, to a lot of different kinds of music. So there's quite a variety.
So some people might be a little intimidated by this, you know? I mean, you watch shows like Dancing with the Stars, and it looks like it takes so much work and skill. So for people who might be feeling that, talk to us a little bit about who can do ballroom dancing. Is this something for everyone, or do you kind of need to have maybe a certain set of skills or be, you know, in certain physical shape to be able to do this?
That is the beauty of ballroom dancing, because anybody can do it. There is no limit to the age or fitness level. I mean, in my career, in 13 years, I've seen everyone from 5-year-olds to 80-year-olds doing ballroom dancing. Whether that's socially or on the competitive floor, they have every single option out there available. In fact, in some areas, they even have wheelchair ballroom dance competitions. So no matter what your status, you can do it.
That's great. So it's inclusive. Yes. That's really wonderful. Yes. And if someone wants to get started in ballroom dancing, how does that typically happen?
Well, everybody's different, and everybody's goals are different. So some people may just want to learn the social ballroom dances, and maybe group classes are sufficient, and maybe people want to be around other people while they're learning. So you can decide that for yourself, but you can also take private lessons in which the learning is a little bit more focused, and you may get a little bit deeper into the technique. And a lot of times people who want to try to do the competition type ballroom dancing, they'll take a lot of private lessons. But, you know, also people who are planning a wedding, A lot of wedding couples love to do a performance for their special day. Yeah. So you may find wedding couples that just want to have some simple choreography so that they're not just standing there doing the old wedding dance that we often see going on. Yeah. Couples for their anniversary as well. They may plan some ballroom dancing lessons to do something special for the big day. So it just depends. Everybody has their own desire as far as where they want to use that in their life. So
would you say that people who start to get involved do it for kind of a mix of both fun and competition? And how might that be a little bit different? You know, maybe people, let's say, for example, someone starts out for fun and then they decide that they want to get into competition. How does that work?
Yeah. Well, when you start taking lessons for fun and you decide, hey, you know, maybe I want to take this to a higher level, maybe you've got that competitive spirit and you want to go out and get on the dance floor. Once you start taking lessons, there are some competitive teachers who do go to ballroom dance competitions, and you essentially can dance what we call pro-am with that teacher. So the teacher's the pro, and you'd be the amateur, and you go and compete as a pro-am couple. Okay. And in that case, a lot of the reason why that happens is there's not enough guys to go around for us ladies. So a lot of times the male teachers have to be shared by a lot of different students, but they do make themselves available for all the ladies that do want to get out there on the dance floor. And then if there is a couple who can do it together, obviously they can do it together as a couple, but the teachers are available to do pro-am competitions when the student is ready.
Got it. You have brought this lovely costume with us, so I want to make sure you take a minute to talk about it because it is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about not only just this piece, but kind of the costuming in general, because I know, you know, when you watch on TV, sometimes that's like almost half as exciting as watching the dancing, is kind of seeing the pieces and especially seeing how they might work and what might be special about this, right, and why, you know, it kind of adds a little something extra to the dancing.
Yes, well, in fact, and just so your viewers know, not everybody has to wear fancy costumes. When you start at the beginner levels, they do keep the costumes pretty basic. So it's not really a sport that needs to cost a lot of money and to go to this level and have a very expensive dress made. But there's a variety of things you can do as far as costuming. This, of course, happens to be a sample of an actual professional ballroom dance costume like they would wear on Dancing with the Stars. And one thing that people may not know, because it's hard to tell on television, is that these are all Swarovski crystals. So they have that real beautiful sparkle to them. They're not sequins, although they might be in some cases on some dresses. But each one of these crystals that's on here, and there's probably, it's hard to tell by looking at it, but it's probably about 3,000 of them on this dress.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And each one is put on individually. So that takes a lot of work. And it may take about 20 hours total to make a costume like this with the fringes and with the stoning for a ballroom dancer to go out there and show their stuff.
Yeah, but well worth the result. It is really, really beautiful.
Yes.
So if people want to get started, if they want to learn more, share with us how, you know, some resources that people have and maybe even some special events. I know we talked a little bit before we got started, and you've got some things coming up that you can kind of share with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. For your viewers here in the area, they can really learn about all the different dance venues as far as social dancing and ballroom dancing, as well as some of the best studios to go to on my website. I do try to keep that very up to date, and that website is www.natalkadance.com. So it is my first name, Natalka dance.com, and on there I have a Dance in Detroit section where people can go and visit to look up teachers or places that they can dance socially. And your viewers are welcome to attend our dance coming up, the Ford Ballroom Dance Club, which is March 29th in Plymouth. It's open to the public, and there will be a variety of dance styles going on. And by the way, you don't need to know how to dance to come.
Okay, and that's an event that people can participate in as well as just observe if they're just curious and want to come check it out?
Absolutely. You can stand on the sidelines if you want and just kind of watch the activity going on and just jump in if you feel comfortable. Oftentimes they do have a big group lesson ahead of time before the dances, but you can find out that information when you come to the dance or on my website if there is a class being held. But it is definitely something that is a memorable experience for people.
So how would ballroom dancing fit into someone's exercise routine? Is this a good form of physical fitness?
Absolutely. In fact, ballroom dancing is such a great form of exercise because you don't know that you're exercising. You've got the music playing, you're feeling the rhythms, and you really don't realize you're exercising. So you do tend to exercise for a longer period of time. In fact, sometimes I find myself dancing with a partner for 3-4 hours. And by the time we're done, I'm sure it's pretty impressive how many calories I've burned. So definitely a great form of exercise because it uses the whole body. So when you're dancing across the floor, you're using the entire body and not just one part to burn the calories. And it also helps with your heart. You're getting that blood pumping. So.
And being on your feet all those hours, not just, in competition, but also for practice, what kind of shoes or other, clothing are kind of important, or do people need to know that they're going to need to invest in if they want to get involved in this?
Right, that's a great question. When somebody starts taking ballroom dancing lessons, there's not any particular type of clothing, although something that's very comfortable and that breathes well is definitely recommended. As far as footwear is concerned, now that would be something I would recommend because you may be taking a lesson for an hour and dancing in a regular pair of day-to-day shoes may not help you to execute the movements very easily. So what they've done is for many years actually had ballroom dancing shoes. This is an example of a higher heel, although there's closed shoes with lower heels that can be worn by both men and women. Obviously, if you want to show off your legs and your footwork a little bit more, we've got more of an open toe shoe, and some of the characteristics of dance shoes is that they're very soft. So unlike regular shoes, which can't do this, it allows you to point your toe and also makes it more comfortable. So that's something that dancers do find to be very nice. They're also made with suede bottoms, which a lot of people don't know, so that you don't slip when you're dancing.
Very important.
So that's very important to a lot of people. So that's the difference with regular shoes versus dance shoes.
So we see events on TV, like Dancing with the Stars, but if someone would like to get involved in something maybe local, go see some shows, go kind of, check things out, do we have local events that people can attend?
Absolutely. In fact, every couple months, there's something different going on in Detroit for social dancers, as well as people who like to be a little bit more on the competitive side. In fact, every year now we've been holding a Dancing with Our Local Stars, where I've been lucky enough to have that opportunity to dance with Peter Nielsen, who many people know, and Elle Brooks Patterson.
Fun, yeah.
We get those local celebrities out and teach them some ballroom dancing for several weeks coming up to the event. And they actually get on a stage and just lay it all out there for the public to see. In fact, the last event we had about 600 or 700 people. So it definitely is a great event, as well as many of the local studios have dance parties where you can just come and practice what you've learned, and also showcases often. So they may have a winter showcase, a Christmas showcase, where people can come and see the dancers perform. And also oftentimes those are joined with a group lesson ahead of time. So it's kind of a combination package.
So you can learn first and then be able to participate once the event gets started. That's a great idea.
Yes.
What about charity events? Is there anything like that coming up that you want people to know about?
Well, yes, actually in June, and I believe it's going to be June 16th, City Style Tango is holding a charity event for Commonwealth schools. So that's one thing that is coming up, that the information would be on my website, the natalkadance.com website. So if people are looking for a studio showcase coming up soon, this is going to be held locally. Anybody from this area, all of your viewers are welcome to attend that.
Okay, great. As people get started with ballroom dancing, is there a certain type of dance that you recommend that they start with, maybe as a building block, or, do they just kind of pick something that sounds interesting and get started with us? Talk to me a little bit kind of about how that might progress as you're learning.
Well, a lot of times people don't even really know what they want to learn. So some of the local instructors, what they'll do is they will introduce the students to a couple different types of dances. They may do rumba for an hour, maybe some waltz for an hour, and maybe some swing, just to give the student an idea of how those feel, and then kind of go from there. So, there are some simple dances that can be done, like merengue, which is a simple two-step dance that is fun and can be done to Latin music. And you can also dance it locally at the salsa clubs. So we do have social salsa dancing that goes on every single week, 3 or 4 nights a week, and you can practice salsa, merengue, bachata, some hustle, cha-cha. So it's just a variety, but I would recommend some of those social dances that I just mentioned for beginners, and then kind of go from there, see what they like.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about being involved in ballroom dancing?
Well, I have to say that my favorite thing has been all the friends I've made over the 13 years now that I've been dancing. Some of my best friends I probably would have never met had it not been for dance. And I found that dance has actually made my world smaller, and a lot of people have always wanted to dance, that thought about it. In my day-to-day work, I always run into people that say, "Oh my God, I want to dance. How do I get started?" And you would never know that had I not been in that community. And also something special that I've done, because I do work for a diabetes company, and because of my ballroom dancing background, I've combined the two and have created my Dancing for Diabetes initiative. And that's very special to me. My grandmother had diabetes, and many people that we all know, all the viewers probably know somebody or a family member who has had diabetes.
Yeah.
And so I'm very big on just spreading the word to increase physical activity to help prevent diabetes. One of those activities may be ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
If people don't like to do that, of course, there's other things like kickboxing or yoga, or just adding on a simple walking regimen after meals that could help them.
Just being active.
Exactly.
All right. Is there any misconceptions, maybe something that you tend to hear a lot that people think about ballroom dancing that aren't true, that you want to clear up for our audience today?
Yes, certainly. I mean, some things that I always hear is, "Oh, it's got to cost a lot of money to do ballroom dancing." And I mean, it really just depends on how many lessons you take. If you go to a group class, they usually only cost $10 per person for a class.
It's very affordable.
It's very affordable. I mean, if you go to take a private lesson, you may be paying more. Oftentimes, private lessons are between $50 to $75 for a 45 to an hour lesson. And, it just depends on how many lessons you want to take. So that is completely up to you and your budget.
But it sounds like a group lesson might be a way for someone to kind of try it out and see what they like, and then they can always choose to invest more in private lessons as they go if they decide that that's what they want.
Absolutely. That's the nice thing about it, is it's very flexible and you're not tied into anything. I would definitely avoid signing any, contracts that you're going to take, 12 or 20 or 30 lessons when you're just a beginner. Just hold off on that until you really know what you want to do, and take the group classes up front. There's many independent instructors locally that will really work with people as far as their budgets and what they want to learn, and how they want to incorporate that into their activity every day.
Yeah. Do you think that shows like Dancing with the Stars have had an impact on, the current ballroom dancing space?
Yes, yeah. Actually, studios in general have seen an increase of lessons, and people, just the average person walking
more
off the street,
yeah,
wanting to learn, because they see, everybody can do it, and we can get out there and have some fun with this. So you'll see a lot of wives bringing in their husbands, saying, "Honey, I want to learn some tango," So it definitely has increased awareness as far as that's concerned, and just in general, I mean, it's just a wonderful way to kind of bring people together. So a lot of people have incorporated it into parties and different type of special events where they've brought teachers in to do dance lessons for groups. So it definitely has influenced the way people do business as well.
Do you have any favorites on the show? Any of the regular partners who are on the show, that kind of thing?
Well, I have to say that a lot of them have always been my favorites because I know many of them. Tony Dovolani, as an example, has been an instructor who I met when I first started dancing 13 years ago. So way before he went on the show, he was just part of the ballroom dance community in the United States, just like I am. So it's kind of really fun to see them, be on the show and gain that popularity and make a name for themselves across the world, really.
So when you go dancing, where do you like to dance locally?
Well, a couple places that I really like to go are Diablo's in Royal Oak. They have good salsa dancing during the week and on the weekends. And also now they've got salsa dancing at Woody's. So that's a couple social dance places where you can, again, kind of do that salsa, Latin music, have all that fun shaking your hips. Also, I like to go to City Style Tango, which is a studio that is just opened up in Clawson area. Locally as well, we have a ballroom dance competition once a year here called the Michigan Dance Challenge. So if I'm not competing in it, I do like to go and spectate, and that's coming up here as well the first weekend of April. So people can go and check that out. MichiganDanceChallenge.com is the website. So those are some of the local places, and also the Ford Ballroom Dance, which is happening on March 29th. That's probably my most favorite dance because they play such a variety.
Okay, great. And we know you're active and you are dancing and you're out there having fun with it. Do you teach as well?
I teach on Tuesday nights, as a matter of fact, at the Franklin Club, which is at 12 Mile and Northwestern, and my class is called Latin Locomotion.
Okay.
So again, kind of on that topic of moving the body, just getting moving, doing something fun. We use Latin music, obviously, to get our dance groove on, and we have a wide variety of students. So we have beginners all the way to advanced people, but I always go back to the basics so people don't need to feel like they can't just join in at any point. So Tuesday nights at 7:30 at Franklin Club, I'm there.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge and a little bit more about ballroom dancing with us. So again, that event you said was on March 29th.
March 29th.
And I'm assuming people can go to your website if they want to learn more information about that and check it out. Thanks again for sharing everything about ballroom dancing. Thank you everyone for joining us today on Exploring Hobbies. Please keep an eye out on the show for future episodes.